Hundreds of shells were launched at Jake and deeply penetrated his fat body, but his skin was ridiculously thick, and with a little force, all the shells were bounced back. The enemy was stunned instantly and jumped into the river in fear. Jake realized that he seemed to be invincible. He casually scooped into the sea and grabbed the cables of hundreds of aircraft carriers and dragged them all back. This battle directly made Jake the top. Jake's posters could be seen everywhere in the country. Merchants began to sell Jake brand clothing. It took a company of people to do SPA. It took several people to get a haircut. Seeing Jake so glorious, Troy was completely driven to collapse. The next day, he ran to the enemy country and encouraged them to kill Jake. Soon, a huge egg-shaped mecha appeared in front of Jake. It was Troy sitting inside. He wanted to compete with Jake. Jake was full of disdain. Who would have thought that the next second, the egg suddenly began to deform? Instantly became taller than Jake. Jake instantly got scared and turned around and tried to escape. Troy grabbed his waistband directly. "Hold him up," Jake immediately begged for mercy and shouted, "Surrender," to the great disappointment of all the citizens. Then Jake was tied to the bed, took him to a small island in the distance. As soon as he got there, he was covered by a huge cup. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself wearing a princess dress. This was actually Giant Island. In their eyes, Jake was as small as a thumb. A huge milk bottle blocked his mouth. He became a toy of the giant child. Jake was desperate. He planned to spend his whole life like this. At this time, a letter came from Lilliput. It told Jake an amazing news. A woman was also washed to Lilliput by the waves. After listening to her description, Jake thought, "Isn't this his goddess Cindy?" The power of love rekindled Jake's fighting spirit. He decided to return to Lilliput. This time, the princess and Cindy were watching the battle on the scene. Jake rushed directly to the mecha. Troy had already upgraded the mecha and modified the electric shock system. Jake was stunned by the electric shock. At the critical moment, Luca came on horseback. He found the right opportunity and got into the mecha. He destroyed the power system. Jake took the opportunity to give a flying kick. Then he jumped on the head of the mecha and started to hammer it wildly. He ended the battle directly. I have to say, the power of love is so magical.